Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Day-Zee from CZT Peg. Oh, let's see if I can hopefully pronounce this right. Philleo. Hopefully. All right. This is neat, and I need to make a list of tangles that put songs in my head so I can switch them out every so often. This one you have to I don't know, maybe you have to be of a certain age yeah, to know. If you know the song I'm thinking of, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll figure out some kind of virtual winnings for if you guess the song that is in my head. All right, this one is cool. It starts off with a bunch of big squashed orbs, and so however you want to place them. Now, one thing I realized kind of in my version of the step out, and only because I decided as I was playing with this, and put them different angles and stuff like that. Oh, you know what? I'm having an afterthought. Hold on a moment. Let's get this oval in here. Because as I'm looking, I'm like, no, I think I want to do four corners and a border. You can do anything, out of order if you want to. It's one of those kind of days. Well, here, and let me move this. Wait, let me move the camera. Sometimes I like to work in my lap, apparently. There we go. There we are. That's nice. Okay. So, I think I'm going to stick with just these three, and I'll show you why. So once you have all of your orbs, in the space, then we're going to aura those. And I will tell you this, if you change your mind on the size of an orb, this one would have been a candidate. But you don't have to always aura on the outside. It's kind of a course corrector. If you decide, oh, you know what, that was a little too big, so I could have auraed on the inside and, course corrected. So just keep that in mind. All right. Then we're going to put little lines in that auraed section, trying to stay just within although that's one thing I did not look completely at, and I will later. So there are, of course, decorating options with this. And I know in one of Peg's samples, in this, and I think I will do it on this, she filled in every other one so it kind of looks like, stripes. And I think it makes such a neat look. It's one of those, like it both ways, but that's kind of fun. And then I was thinking, because it just occurred to me now, and I don't remember seeing it, if she had any that, where she didn't put these lines in here, even though it's in the step out, because, it's the decorating portion. You could probably put orbs in there. You could just leave it, the way it is, and, do some shading. One thing to note, well, actually, if I could not go over, that would be lovely. There's ways to fix that. But one thing that I do is, so where I'm starting is I look for these. So when I begin and end, I'm not necessarily neat. So if you start there, oh, look at that. You can barely see those little things. Little course corrections like that. That's not, I don't know if that's not, well, no, it is kind of a course correction. It's just a little tweak. Just to disguise those little things if I would just draw a little slower sometimes, then I would avoid those. But sometimes when you think, oh, it's just an orb, and you just go fast. Okay, next. We're going to connect all of these with lines. And it doesn't matter where. And here too, so where I've kind of gone over. I'm going to pretend that I have some on the outside of this. So like here, I'm going to connect this one to something that's going outside. Let's put this one here too. And if you take a look at the For More Inspiration link in the description section, you will see, you know, how she does it. And let's see, wait. Well, I guess it just depends on how you have the orbs, because, well, I have one coming to here. If you have more orbs, you might have, you know, more than, well, here, like we have 2 lines coming here, 1 coming out here. You know, there could be an orb out this way, and I do another line. Oh wait, let's do that here. We'll have one going here. We'll have one going here. You know, nobody knows what's on the what's underneath the border here, so we can make anything up that we want to. Let me just look at. Well, no, in her samples, yeah, it looks like she's got the lines on all of them. But again, you know, when it comes to decorating, it is up to you. Now, next step is we're going to make seed shapes on these lines. So, you know what I'm saying? This one extends out to, I don't know how far, so I don't necessarily have to end it. It could be ending way out here, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like that. But like here, so a little curved line going one way, a little curved line going the other way. And we're just going to do that for all of these lines. And one other I'll do the same thing for here, where it's just extending, we're hollow bowing underneath. So the thing that I discovered when I was doing the step out, and one of the options that Peg has, you know, in the last step is putting orbs basically in all of the space, you know, except for inside of these. It looks really, really neat. However, you need to make sure to do shading, and I think I'm going to do that because I really like it. And you know what? I'm going to do the orbs way bigger than I think, and then filling in those little gaps too. But it gets to be really busy, and actually, this would be a good thing just to share for a number of reasons. Because sometimes we're doing tangles. You know, you can learn a tangle lesson, you know, from that you can carry over into other things, and this is kind of one of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it started. I'm going to tell you about all of the stuff that I usually save to the end. I either save it to the end or when I have something like this, and then I tell you about it now. And hopefully I can do that and tangle at the same time. And then if I'm not done with this, I will pause it, because if you're tangling along with me, then you can always pause as well. But let me just tell you about that description section. So again, you want to take a look at the link, and I have it worded inside baseball on YouTube. There's things you can set that just happen all the time. And so I have the wording set, so I just have to put in, you know, it makes it as quick as possible for me. And so that's why I have it say, for more inspiration from the creator of this tangle. Because, you know, and I'm sharing that right now because when I look at it and I'm like, oh, that just seems so impersonal. But you know, because I want to put the name in. I've already have the name up above because that's one of the things that I add in. But anyway, so if you've ever thought that, that's why that's in there. That's why it's worded that way. so when you look at that link, then that'll take you to wherever I found this. And sometimes there'll be more than one link. If if it's say on Tangle Patterns, and then there's also a direct link, to their blog or Instagram or something like that. So I try to give you resources so you can just take a peek and see what the creator of the Tangle did with it, because besides the fact that it's neat, it also provides some extra inspiration on how you might want to decorate your work, and I don't know, it's just fun. I also have a link to my own step out, because I always do my own version, and then also, well, actually, you know what? If you need to take a handbrake, every so often when you're doing something like tipple like this, take a moment every so often, because I find myself getting the death grip, and then and it gets tighter and tighter as I go, like as if the pen's gonna fall out of my hand. Now that can happen, but so every once in a while, especially if you're doing something like this that's super repetitive, take a handbrake, take an eyeball break, focus on something across your room, and so that way it's not like, oh my gosh, I just did 5 million orbs and I can't see anything anymore. So while you're doing that, though, maybe right now, if you're enjoying this, please click the like button. If you liked enough to see more, and I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel also. Gosh, I haven't mentioned this in a while. Just so you know, I do this is a daily tangle, so I do a daily tangle. And other than, and I might, let's see, no, for the YouTube, there's an occasion where I might post class replays, and so then you might see 3 new tangles for me. And I mention this because you can also set how you're notified. And I know they always say, oh yeah, make sure to turn on the notifications. Well, if you don't like your devices or your phone blowing up every time somebody posts a video, I would much rather have you be a subscriber to the channel than get notifications. You can, the way I do it is I go, I see who's got new stuff up, and then I go watch it if I want to, versus having, a gazillion emails and stuff like that. So you set it to however you like to operate, but I do like to make mention of that, and I haven't done that in a while. Also in that description section, you find ways to connect with me. So if you are enjoying it and maybe you want to take an online class or something, I teach twice weekly. I'm in Michigan, so it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays are always free, and it's unless I have a weird schedule issue, it's always on Thursday. I do 2 sessions, same content, but we get a second try, or we end up trying something different with whatever the tangles are that I'm putting out there. And it's always a surprise. Sometimes I don't even know what we're doing until moments before when I make the decision. But so it's always a surprise, and some people find that fun. All right. So those are, so they're always on Thursdays, always free. On Tuesday, those classes, I have one class on a Tuesday that is free. It's called Tough Tangle Tuesday, and the other ones are have some kind of a topic and have some kind of a fee associated with it. I also have a club, so if you end up really liking what I do and you think you'll take more than take a class a month or something like that, then it would be well worth your time to just investigate it and check that out. There's a link on my site regarding club membership too. Look at that. All right. So, as I mentioned, when it gets really busy like this, because it's hard to see, in my opinion, these nice connecting sections. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to add shading around all of that. And I think I mentioned everything that I usually mention at the end, so now I have to remember that I mentioned it already. And sometimes I get myself out of order. It's good to get yourself out of order. It's healthy for those neural pathways. So I have been told. But yeah, so going around this with the graphite, because as you can see, yeah, like your eyeballs just don't know what to go to. I mean, it can go to these, but it just kind of gets lost. So if you ever have a tangle that you're like, I'm not happy with this, just take a look at your shading, and did you questions to ask yourself: Did I do enough shading? Could I add something? Could it be a little darker? Because adding something that's darker, or even adding some contrast. So one of the nice things about tipple, and actually I just see a place here where I could fill in, and another one. In looking at Peg's step out, she has a little bit more distance between her orbs than I have, and that probably would have been a good idea, but I kind of like doing my tipple this way. And the reason it's a good idea is there's a lot of filled in sections on her, so your eyes then can see the big orbs and the seed shapes. But I'm like, where was I? And it just helps your eyes know where to go. So if you ever just when you're looking at your work, and if you're not happy, that's just some things to run like a little bitty checklist. All right, let's use not that one, this one. And we're just going to bring it out into that tipple. And I always try to share this tip when you're using, both the pencil and the tortillon. Best to have that tip of it touching the line you don't want to go over, or think of it as the line, where you want it the darkest. And look at how that's popping already. I mean, the tipple is already a nice texture, but adding the graphite like this just makes it even cooler. My opinion. There we go. And then let's see, because that's kind of, let's do, because I left that kind of open. I'm just going to do, because I also want to cover that up a little bit. I'm just going to do one side. I'm going to pick a side and stick to that side. So this one, and it was, as you could see, it was guided by the place that I wanted to cover up. Oh, and there's some there too. And I can always change my mind and, go around that whole interior. But sometimes it's fun to say, oh, you know what? Let me just see what it does, what it looks like if I only do this much of it. We'll bring it in a little bit. Oh, I'm liking it. Oh, shading is just the magic. It brings to life what we do. Love it. Okay. And being, and I go with the non-artist, as a Zentangle artist, we can call ourselves that, but that's as far as it goes for me. And so that's why I'm always just tickled to pieces with the shading and stuff, so it never gets old, because it's just so neat. All right, and I think for a final touch, I'm going to go darker on the outside and bring it to the outside. You don't have to worry about this outside. Sometimes it just depends on what you feel like a lot of Zentangle is. And it's already dark inside, so I don't want to have it go on the inside. That creates a really neat effect. I just don't want to have it on this one because it's small. On top of having a lot of gray, I'll get the graphite remorse. But we'll just bring it out because that has a neat look too. All right. Oh, so much fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. And I appreciate your watching. Hopefully you laugh along with me. Hopefully you tangle along with me. I know some do. Because it's so much fun. And let's see. I had it going this way. It's just cool. So cool. And there's so many other things that you can do with the decorating. You just have fun. All right. So with that, thanks again so much for watching. And I wish you happy tangling.